Hi guys, today I'm going to use some of my toilet paper rolls. I decided I want to make a cat. Some cats. They've seen this on Pinterest. I do not know who the person who made these first made them. It just shows people who have pinned them. But I don't believe that the person who had shared that pin is the person who actually made it, because it didn't say it was made by that person. So what we do is we have toilet paper rolls and we just make the little ears. I've made bats with these for birthday parties and then added wings. But we can make cats. And we can do different size rolls and whatnot. So I was thinking of, I take this one down. I'm not sure if that's going to be a great idea or not. So I was thinking of making some cats. So we can papier-mâché these. We can use just regular paper. We can use toilet paper. You can use paper napkins. But today I'm going to use some of this plaster wrap I have. So I know not very many of you guys have this kind of stuff, but I was going to try it out with the plaster wrap. And you guys could do papier-mâché. It'll be the same sort of thing. So the plaster wrap is just a little bit, well, different. Obviously, it might be a little more, it's more convenient maybe, but I was thinking of just using some up. I have lots of this stuff, and I would like to use some up. So I'm going to try one with plaster wrap and see how this kitten works. So I'm just dipping it into the water here, and here's my cup of water. Dipping my fingers in. It's got the plaster all over this stuff, so I'm just rubbing my fingers on it. I'm not sure you guys where to get this. I don't know if you can get it at Michael's, but there are some artist stores you can get it from. Once again, I'm going to put that in there like this. And smear my plaster around like so. And you would do the same thing with papier-mâché. You would have your glue, and you make your little bowl of glue. You'd have your strips, and then you would do it not in huge long strips. I would do it the same size as what I'm doing with these rolls here. And then just imagine that being your glue. You're wiping your glue off, and you're just going over your roll. I would do one coat at a time and let it dry, because when you do this, you have to, it'll get soaked, really soaked. And even with this particular product, you'll have to go one at a time, because it'll get where you're wrecking your toilet paper roll. The nice thing about this, you'll be able to shape the face a little bit better, a little easier, I would say, not better. But with the toilet paper roll or paper napkin, you could, or what's that stuff called? Paper towel. You can make little balls for the cheeks. You can form a little nose, like rolling between your finger and letting that dry on there with glue. So, I mean, this is a little bit different than the papier-mâché, but not by far, not really by much. And this will get really hard. This will get like rock hard. And it's fun to work with. So if you ever get a chance to get this plaster, it's really fun. And try to get on there. So my toilet paper roll is pretty wet on here with plaster. And I think I'm going to stick one more piece of plaster on here. And that's probably all she can hold until it dries up a bit more. Then I could form my face and then do another layer and make it look really nice. I could probably sneak in a little piece here for the ears before it gets too wet. But like I said, it's the same kind of concept as papier-mâché. So with my next cat here, I can do papier-mâché for you guys just to show you that's not too different. So there is my first cat, beginnings of my first cat. Okay, so now I have some PVA glue and water, and I'm mixing it up. So this is for my next kitty. And it's close to half and half. Might be a little bit more glue than water. I didn't measure it, but I'm just mixing it up with my very gluey brush that I use for gluing. And I'm just kind of putting some on, pre-treatment sort of a thing. Putting some of my paper in, making it mush, just like I was telling you guys how I would do the same thing pretty much. It's just a little messier, obviously. And then I would put, these wraps are actually a little bit bigger than the one I did for this one right here. I think my strips are a little longer. But it's the same sort of concept. You could tear them for around the ears, but it might be a little bit better to have them longer. You could feel around how you want it to go. You could tear it, like I said, if you don't like it, if it's just making it too hard to maneuver. Good job, guys. So, good job. Cora just finished all her schoolwork.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so just gonna go down on here like that. So his ears are covered. So it's the same kind of concept as I just did. Like I said, it's a little messier because it's a little easier with the little strips of I can't remember what I just called them. But the papier-mâché works just as good. And this is just glue and water. So, and then I would just have some squares after to form his face, and roll him up to his little cheeks and make his little cheeks and his little face whiskery things. What are they called? The little cute little whiskery face parts of, but you wouldn't have whiskers. You could add that later. But I'm talking about how the kitty cat's little U shapes on each side comes down when you have little cartoon cats and whatnot. So there's his ears. So papier-mâché works just as well. It's a little messier, yes, because of the glue falling everywhere. And you'll have to let it dry. I'm not sure if it has to dry longer or not because I haven't really compared. Here we go. So this is one coat on this guy, and I'm going to put a little strip in his ears between them to hold the what I just did down. I might have a little too much glue on there, but whatever. I'm doing this on a glass piece here too, so all the glue will drip down onto the cutting board, and it's a smooth side of the cutting board, so, and I use it just for my craft table. So of course you will have other layers on top, and I'm just going to add a little bit more since I'm just trying to get, now I'm not even adding any glue to the paper. I'm just soaking up the excess glue. I have lots of glue on here. So also it works really well as paper towel and toilet paper. That works really nice as well for this project. Getting out of picture there, sorry guys. Sometimes it's hard to tell where I'm holding things. So I'm going to add a little bit to the outer edge here, make sure it sticks. And this is just book paper that I cut, actually tore it out a bunch of the pages and I cut them. So here's one kitty with papier-mâché, glue papier-mâché, and this is with the other stuff. I can't think of the name right now, and that's what I have so far. Okay, so the next way I'm going to show you, I showed you the papier-mâché with the book paper and the glue and the water. I showed you the plaster here, the plaster like that's on the roll. Here's the next way is what we're going to do is the toilet paper way. And so you guys all can try it. So again with the glue and the water, I'm just going to put that on. Now toilet paper does lots of stuff because I work with it with my molds, and then that I don't have to put no glue in it, but it works just great. So you could do squares or whatever, and just have your brush very wet and kind of paint it on and shape it. Try not to get too thick pieces. You could do strips as well. Because now you can see I have thicker pieces here, but we can just work with that. I'm going to add, and you gotta do it really quickly because toilet paper does want to break apart. Paper towel works really well, but I don't own any paper towel. I never buy it, so I'm just gonna go over it as best I can, like so. Shape the ears. I'm going to use a lot of glue and water just because it'll stick if you don't. And if you rub too much with it not wet, it's just going to rub off. It's a different way to do it. It does work. It gets nice and hard. Just make sure it gets soaked right through. If you go a little bit, like I went over, wrapped it around like twice. So and you can see that it's moving. The toilet paper is moving, so you want to make sure that you don't over wipe. Otherwise your toilet paper, because this is cheap, right? Toilet paper too, so. But it does work. Has a nice papier-mâché. So you can let this coat get nice and hard now. I think I put enough on. It's about 3 little, well, you know, I went over it around 3 times. There's a little bit more toilet paper than 3 coats, but, and that's the first part of the toilet paper, type of papier-mâché. And like I said, it'll be, with toilet paper, doing anything smaller would be really tedious, the strips, because, I mean, it gets wet and it moves and breaks really fast, so it's little pieces at a time. So there's the beginning of your cat with the toilet paper. Little pieces at a time, because if you do too many, it's very delicate. It will break more. I'm working on another layer of the toilet paper. I'm doing square by square now, folding them in half. I'm using a smaller brush, same mixture of tad more glue than water. It's just, I kind of like looked at it and threw some glue in there, threw some water, which a nice mixture that's kind of thick like that. So you just want it to, because the toilet paper too, it's the same one I use for papier-mâché, but it's toilet paper is thinner, so you also want to not tear it. But it's just to show you that you can do it with all sorts of things. And then the top layer can just be strips, and you can, like, right now it might seem a little patchy here and there because of the squares. And you just keep doing that till you're happy with Monsieur Kitty. And it does, when you brush it, shape it a little bit more, so it's nice. When you have your little kitty with the toilet paper, you're going to want to kind of grab some toilet paper and make his little shapes to what you want for his face. You're going to want his little nose to go down, and you're going to want his little mouthpieces to go out. So like so. And you do your best on shaping it, and it'll shape to what you like. So there's his little, I don't know if you can see it because it's all white. There's this kind of his little whiskers. And you could also, when he's dry, if this is too difficult, you could also hot glue little facial features and then put another layer, which would work as well. So there's is his face. Now that's got to kind of dry a bit, and we can add on to it a little bit, shape it a little bit, squish, twist, whatever. And you're going to need a little nose on him. And right now it's kind of like a little ball, and you can just shape it more or less after you get it on his face. Now it's on his face. Now you've got the tip of his face up here. Now you want to shape it like a little drop or like a little heart kind of a thing on there. And toilet paper is actually pretty easy to shape. Once it gets sticky, that's when it's kind of gets to your fingers or to the brush a bit more. And then it gets a little bit more difficult. So now I have this one as kind of like a little drop. And it's not perfect. I'm kind of facing you guys, so it's kind of hard, but it'll work. Then you could do his little eyes. And it's kind of a primitive kitty, but I mean, it's cute. And actually, you don't even have to make his eyes, you could just paint them on afterwards. So I'm actually going just to paint them on afterwards. But there's his little face. Okay, so I kind of fixed up his face a little bit. I mean, you know, they don't have to be the same. And the one on Pinterest, they had a tail. And here's the face I kind of drew out on this guy. I don't know if you can see it, so we gotta make a little plaster face for this guy. I'm not sure how many pieces I'll need, so we're just going to cut out some smaller strips. So you can see how they're kind of all coming together. Of course, I have my water over here for my plaster. It's out of sight, but you can see the bottom of it right there. Okay, so I want to make a little plaster roll, perhaps. And now it's getting really nice and damp. I put it inside the other one, as you've seen. So now I'm kind of just going to do a little. It's a little easier with the plaster, or even polymer clay, or hot glue. And I'm going to do the next one with hot glue, just to show you guys all of the ways that I suggest. This guy's already getting nice and hard, so it's not quite sticking as what you would think, but it will work, because now I'm just putting a little over coat of his nose is. Just like that. Gonna cut some more plaster. So this stuff is really fun and easy to work with. A little easier than the other things even. Hi guys, got a phone call. Don't remember where I was at, but I was forming this guy's face for my kitty, and I got this guy's face. Kind of looks funny, but with paint, hopefully it won't look too bad. So these guys really do have to dry now. They're getting hard, but this guy especially, the toilet paper. Now this guy I was going to show you guys with hot glue for his face. So if my glue gun is ready, which I'm not sure, I'm going to first draw him a face of kind of what I'm looking for. I want his eyebrows and his, his kind of, you can't really see it too well, but that's okay because pencil and he's damp still. So I kind of have his little eyebrows coming down and a little bit of a loop of a nose and a little kitty mouth and that rounded part of his cheeks. So now I'm just going to go and form his eyes. They're not going to be exactly and I'm going to turn the heat down on my heat gun now that he's nice and warm too, because it's going to start melting and de-shape the way I want it. So I want my whisker guy, or whatever his cheeks are called. Then I want his little lower lip. Again, I'm going to kind of form his nose a bit better. Oh, and that's it. So there is his face and the hot glue. And we gotta let that dry. I'm gonna add some glue to his face now, and just do a little bit of papier-mâché over his features to get them in. To get them in with the to kind of fit in with everything. So, and that's it. Kind of try to get his features in there. Oops, moving it. I'm going to pull this one up just a little bit more. Make it go over his eyebrow and stick to something. Then just continue with his mouth and everything else, and then we got his features in there. Oops, double. And the hot glue is just going to work really, you can squish it down. It's not like toilet paper, so you can squish it right in there and get the shape and not worry about wrecking the paper that you have taped underneath or whatever. So it works pretty good. So I'm probably going to do another part on this video because I have to still let this dry and work on the other parts, like finishing them up and stuff for you guys. So yeah, I'm going to do part 2.